I'm in a position to question related to how do we break through the policy wall. My name is Tim Whitford. I'm a councillor from High River. Our town is located on a very complex floodplain. We have been struggling with the province of Alberta to get the floodplain mapped in a meaningful manner for many years. Since 2009, we've embarked on a modeling exercise. We've done a number of models. We're actually doing aquifer modeling for the sustainability of our water supply, as well as dealing with the mitigation of the floods that we experience. We have a 100-year flood every 10 years in there.
Your recurrence is just more often than others.
It is. The frequency is hard to calculate. We have fortunately developed a 2D model of our floodplain. And I say fortunately because all of the gauging stations were lost on the Highwood Basin except for Cataract Creek. So all of the tributary data is gone, the main stem data is gone. Both of the diversions off the Highwood River were badly damaged in this last flood. We've been able to, using a two-dimensional model based on, I'm not sure whether it's high resolution, high definition LiDAR, back into why the east part of our town flooded. And the challenge is getting the government to actually accept these innovative approaches. They seem to want to use a one-size-has-to-fit-all. They mapped High River using a headcrest model in 1992. There's nothing wrong with doing that. The problem is the Highwood River floodplain changed in 1993 and 1994 and so on. So for our purposes, it's we've developed a lot of subdivisions. We have 70% of our town developed on the floodplain, even though it doesn't show on the floodplain based on the headcrest model that was used. So all of those subdivision approvals have been based on that model. So we've done this other exercise so that we can plan a community going forward that doesn't grow on the floodplain. And I guess my question is, over the next year, I think it'll be at least a year before we break that policy wall, is how can we get these innovative approaches brought in? I think there's a lot of really good work that's going on. Backing into it, our flood flow on the Highwood River, which is not much bigger than the Elbow, appears to be around 1,600 cubic meters a second. And
that's a lot of water.
Yeah, and it's only typically about a 30-hour duration for High River. But when you make a lake 5 kilometers long that can't drain by itself and it's lined with clay, it's a major issue. And we've been able to determine how that happened and understand why it took so long to pump it out. But breaking that policy barriers so that we can plan better communities, I think, is a real challenge. I've been active in this for about 3 years. In the last 2 years, I've been working with the Sustainability Environment Committee at the UMA, which is focused on municipalities, obviously. We were promoting strongly the full implementation of the Grand Oak Report. Obviously, we weren't very successful in that, so I guess my question to the community going forward is how can we break through these policy barriers and do a better job in the future?
I think it's a wonderful question. It's a difficult question, but it should have a fairly simple or straightforward answer. I think we do have, in some cases, the right principles in the province. In many of the policy pieces, we talk about having place-based solutions, because in water, one size never fits all. So I think part of this is how do we raise these evidence-based policy changes to the level that politicians are willing to make changes based on them. And so this isn't an easy process, but I think the attention that's been shown to this issue, I think the fact that the Premier created this special task force to take a look at it, populated with people who aren't from the government, that they will be listening to communities. I think there's lots we can do to raise the issue. And from a purely monetary basis, if there is a special suite of policy instruments that a community needs to be resilient, it's kind of shame on us if we don't adopt them. So I wish you all the best. I did have a question for you, Tim, and it's not meant to be facetious. But the name of the community is High River.
There's a saying, I think it comes out of the Yellowstone Flood Mitigation Committee. Building on the floodplain is kind of like pitching your tent on the freeway when there's no traffic.
Yes.
High River's been doing that since 1885 or so.
Well, and it's not alone in communities around the world. Alberta's not the only place that's susceptible to this. It happens in many places. And before I sit down, unless there's another question, there is a quote attributable to Yogi Berra that many people have used that I think really
It's nicer than the Murphy's Law,
yeah, it's better than Murphy's Law.
which is much ruder.
I think with that, it's good to start the general Q&A.
Do I get to give
Oh,
a